Okay, thank you guys so much for hopping on tonight. And if you're listening to this recording, I'm glad you're taking the time to do that. It's one of our vital behaviors. This can be part of your personal development of diving into these calls and then implementing what you learn. So thank you for being here. A couple things I wanted to talk about Summit really quick. It's coming up quick and I'm so excited. My very first year I went, it was just Shayna and I in terms of people on Faithfully Fit, and we had a blast. And I feel like both of our businesses really took off after that from everything we learned. And just being in that environment and just getting excited around other passionate people who are fired up about what we do. And then last year we had, I think there were 12 of us from Faithfully Fit, which was awesome just to see that much growth in 1 year of people who are that committed to go on a trip like that with us. And then this year so far, I think we had like 25 people committed, bought tickets, hotel rooms, and now we're talking like flights and stuff. So I'm super excited. And I just wanted to touch on the Success Starters program really quick, because I know we have a lot of new coaches on the team. So if you hit Success Club the first 3 months of your business, you earn a free ticket to Summit, which is awesome. And you'll just be around all these people who will just inspire you and help you to kind of dream bigger and see the bigger picture of this. I think that was what hit me the most the first time I went. Was I was definitely in this and I was definitely working my business. But I didn't have this big vision at that point of really what I wanted it to be the first year that I went. And just being there and seeing real people of all walks of life making this into something huge for their families, for themselves, with longevity, just really inspired me to go for it. And so I want to really encourage you guys to be there, whether you are a Success Starter or not. Get a ticket, join us. It's going to be a blast. And also we have our, sorry, this thing's really distracting me. We have our Super Saturday coming up. It's the weekend of April 8th. So get your tickets. The one in San Diego is always at the La Costa Omni. I will be going. So if anybody is going to the San Diego one, I will be there. We can all sit together. It's basically like a really mini summit where you can, again, kind of see the passion that other people have for this, learn from top coaches, be the first to get the latest breaking news. They will be announcing 2 of the 3 programs that are going to be launched in 2017 at Super Saturday that weekend of April 8th. Depending on what city you're in, it may be sometime that weekend. They're not all on specifically the 8th, but it'll be sometime that weekend. So get your tickets and get your booties there. It's an awesome time to just learn and yeah. So now I'm going to screen share and dive into our topic tonight. All right. Can everybody see that okay? Okay. Shoot, play. Okay. So I want to talk about social media because there's so much to it and I don't want anybody to get overwhelmed by it. But at the same time, I think it's important every now and again to kind of do like a report card of your own social media and see, are you adding value every day in your posts? Are you adding posts that get people to interact, whether they're about your business, your fitness, your health journey or not? Are you posting things that will draw people in and draw in positivity and people who will be attracted to you? So we're going to kind of talk about my top tips for doing that. You want to build your affinity. That is step 1. So especially if you're a new coach, you may not have even heard of affinity yet. So I'm going to talk about it. But basically, a lot of people think that if you have a Facebook, I'm just going to use Facebook a lot as my example tonight because that's what I know best. There's this thing called affinity. And a lot of people think that, say you have 200 friends and you post something, that all 200 of your friends are going to see it. But that's actually not correct. Facebook decides if it's important enough to show it to your friends. So maybe if your affinity is low, let's just say you post something, maybe only 2 people are actually going to see it. So if you're only getting a few comments and a few likes on your post, it could be that your affinity is very low and you need to start there. So you need to focus on posting at least 3 times a day. And again, they need to be things that are engaging, things that are telling your story in some way. It doesn't always have to be a long, drawn out post with your whole journey, in Beachbody and fitness, but little jabs throughout the day. We like to call it breadcrumbing, where you're sharing little bits of your journey here and there. Maybe it's your Shakeology. And rather than just saying, hey, have a shake today, but you're saying something more to it. Like, I'm so glad I could grab this on my way out the door this morning. It's been a super busy morning already, trying to get to work. I overslept, my alarm, whatever it is. So glad I have this quick breakfast that's full of all these superfoods. Something like that. So it's like a little jab to put it out there to people that it's quick and it's healthy. Other post ideas throughout the day are, just what are you doing in your day? You want people to get to know you through your posts without being annoying. So think of things that are engaging. Think of things that people are going to laugh at, laugh in a good way, like they think you're funny, comment on, engage in, relate to. That's the biggest one. If it's relatable, people are going to comment and like. What I like to do in the morning is something inspirational, something about my faith. Then I followed up with my workout post, where it's more than just a check into my challenge group. It's adding a little bit of value there too. Maybe talking about how I really didn't want to press play, but I knew that all these girls in my group were waiting for me to post that day. So I had, I didn't want to let them down. I didn't want to let myself down, sort of post. And then throughout the day, I might throw out a post about my kids or something I'm doing in my day. And I like to do some sort of question or something that a lot of people are going to talk about, an opinion. What dress should I wear to this event that I have coming up? Or I'm going to get my nails done. Should I get this color or this color? Or, I need to go buy a new booster seat for my son. What do you recommend? And this is going to sound terrible, but a lot of times I don't want everybody's opinion, but I know that people are going to comment on it. And that boosts your affinity. So you also want to pay attention to high traffic times. Like I kind of just mapped out how I post during the day. So between 7 and 8 a.m. typically is a good time, because people are maybe just getting to work, or, if they're stay-at-home moms, maybe they've done breakfast or whatever, and they're hopping on their phone real quick. And then again, noontime, because you think people are eating lunch, taking a little break, looking at their phones. And then again in the evening. 6 to 8 p.m. typically tends to be a really high traffic time. People are done with their days. They're kind of zoning out. They're picking up their phones. They're scrolling through. So keep those things in mind to build your affinity. You also want to keep in mind the 80-20 rule with posting. So just like we have the 80-20 rule with our fitness and nutrition, you want to consider 20% of what you post should be business related. Either your workouts, your Shakeology, something about coaching, your groups, calls to action. So you're not just completely overhauling your social media with Beachbody. You don't want to just throw up Beachbody all over people, or throw up all about fitness or all about the business. You want to breadcrumb it through. So what I like to do, like I said, I sprinkle in my fitness in the morning, and throughout the day, I may say something about how I'm really glad I can work from home, or, this is my office view for the morning and it's me at the park, or something like that, where I'm not saying, hey, I'm a coach. Do you want to be a coach with me? But I'm just throwing it out there, little jabs. Speaking of a good book to pick up that really helps with this is Jab, Jab, Right Hook by, I can think of his name. It'll come to me. Gary Vee. There we go. Sorry. It just talks about throwing out little jabs, and then your right hook would be a call to action. So I am very specific and strategic with my call to actions. And you'll notice that if you've looked at my social media at all, I try to pick not only a good time, which is normally 6 to 8 p.m. in the evenings, but also a good day of the week. So Fridays and Saturdays tend to be slower days on social media. People are just off doing other things. They don't care so much about social media. They're not at work scrolling the news feed. They're out doing stuff. So I don't typically post calls to actions on those days. I really, really like Sunday evenings to post something about coaching that's more of a call to action, more of my journey through coaching, what it's done for me, and then the call to action being, if this sounds like something that you would like to do, let's talk about it. This could change your life just like it's changed mine. Let's have a conversation about it, something like that. And then on Tuesdays, I like to do a Transformation Tuesday, which is another way for me to tell my story or the story of a fellow challenger or fellow coach, to give you like a shout out. So at the end, it can always be a call to action where you're like, hey, this chick got these incredible results. That could be you. My next challenge group is starting blah, 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 blah. So that's another call to action that I do every single week. They're my own transformation or somebody else's. And mind you, I'm using very similar pictures every time. So when we talk about taking those before and afters as coaches at the beginning of a program and at the end, those are gold, you guys. And also kind of scrolling through old pictures, or even last week I busted out an old photo album from my college years, and I found all this material to use for before and afters, because that was probably like the height of my heftiness, if you will. And so I took pictures of all of these pictures, and I've been using them in my Transformation Tuesday posts lately, with different pictures of me now, whether they're some of, professional shots that I've taken or just regular selfies day to day, whatever. Think about, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So then on Thursdays, I like to do a throwback Thursday. And sometimes, to be honest, if I haven't planned well, that turns into a flashback Friday. But again, it's another way for me to tell my story, my journey. And sometimes it's fitness related. Most of the time it is, but sometimes it's coaching related. Rewind 2 years ago when I started this, and I was working, or 3 years ago, and I was working nights and blah, 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 blah. And in some way, I'm telling my coaching journey through that. So think about how you're going to sprinkle in what makes you you throughout your social media, and also keeping in mind when you're going to schedule out those calls to action. And using that framework is something that I learned last summer that has really been working for me. It just keeps me in the mindset that, oh, it's Sunday, I'm going to post something tonight that's some sort of call to action, or it's Tuesday, I'm going to do a Transformation Tuesday, super easy. So I'm already planning ahead of my week. For example, I used Mandy last week. I got to use her awesome transformation pictures. And so I'm always looking for those things so that I have more people to shout out and more things to talk about. So it makes it so that you're not last minute scrambling to put together a post. Also on Wednesdays, we like to do Woman Crush Wednesday, and it's another way to kind of tap into that vital behavior of recognition, where you're recognizing one of your challengers or somebody on your team, or just somebody in general that you want to love on and show them some, love and stuff for the day. It's just an awesome way to do that. All right, so what are we going to do to think of more things to post? Because a lot of people get stuck right there. So I want you guys each to come up with 10 things that make you different from other people, and start posting about those things. But what makes you different is also going to be relatable. So for example, things that I like that people will engage on, that people know about me, are I really like purple. If I post anything in my house as purple in it, somebody will comment that, oh, I'm not surprised it's purple. My faith, I post about my faith all the time. Like, it's not shocking to people. And I've found other women are also believers who I've been able to connect with because of that commonality. Obviously fitness, but the 10 things I want them to be outside of fitness in the business. So other things I talk about, or that I try to talk about in my social media, are babies. I am baby obsessed, not having any more, but what I used to do for work is a labor and delivery nurse. So that's another thing that I talk about in my posts. I talk about babies. I talk about labor and delivery stuff because I'm a geek for it. So I'm attracting a certain market there of other women who are geeky like me when it comes to babies. So whatever it is for you, that's only 3 of my 10. But just to give you an example, what makes you different from other coaches? Because there's a lot of coaches in this network, but really there's tens of thousands of millions more people out there than there are coaches. So if you're feeling like this is saturated, or every post you see is from a coach, how am I going to stand out? This is how you're going to stand out. Write down those 10 things and then start formulating posts around them to make you relatable and stand out from the other coaches. There's definitely more people out there to help than there are Beachbody coaches, that's for sure. All right, step 3, add value. So you want to share you in your posts. Yes, it's okay to throw up those, funny sayings, memes, whatever. Keep them clean in terms of, well, obviously language. I wasn't going to say that, but that's not what I meant. What I meant by keeping them clean is making sure the visual is clean. I've been watching a coach lately, and I really like, she's not on our team. In fact, I can't even think of which one it is. There's a few different coaches I watch, but I noticed that all of her filler posts is what I like to think of them as, where she probably just doesn't have anything else to say that day, but it's something that people will chuckle at, they'll like it, they might make a comment or two. It's something relatable type meme. She's taking them from whatever the meme picture probably was on Pinterest and just putting it on a white background so they all look the same for her. And I thought that was so smart. And she has her little watermark on the corner so that everybody knows it's hers, and it kind of pulls you into, what is this girl doing? She's very witty. So that's an idea. If you like to post memes, don't just share it. Don't just pull it off Pinterest and share it. Make it your own. Quickly go into Rona Designs or Word Swag or Canva or one of those really or one of those free, really easy apps and just type out whatever it was that it said, make it your own. But let's get back to sharing you and your posts. You want to share bits of your story every day, like we talked about, and you don't have to share it all in one post. So again, breadcrumbing. You're just, I don't share my entire saga of the last 3 years in every post I do. I pull different things out of it. I think back to how I felt as, in high school and being overweight and struggling with things compared to how I do now. And I'll tell that snippet of the story, or how I felt when I used to go clothes shopping and how I feel now in that snippet. And I'll try to think of a specific story of being in the mall with friends or whatever. So think of it like that. You don't always have to share the entire thing. And we're not going to treat our social media pages like our check-ins in our challenge group. So you're not just posting a sweaty selfie and your shake, but you're talking about, why do you drink it every day? How did your workout go today? What hurdles did you have to overcome, and how did you overcome them? And tip, you don't want to say what workout you're actually doing, because you want people to ask questions. So I will throw out I'm going to be starting this 21-day program, and I'm so excited because the workouts are only 30 minutes and I've done it before, so I know it really works. But I won't say, hey, I'm starting the 21-day fix on Monday, because you want people to go, oh, what are you doing? A 30-minute workout at home? Like, that's impossible. You got those results from 30 minutes at home. If you post, I just did the 21-day fix and these are the results that I got, somebody could very easily just Google 21-day fix and go order it online. But if you leave little clues so that people have to come back and ask, oh, what is it you're doing? You look incredible. Then there, it opens up the conversation for you to say, well, I actually have a challenge group opening up, and I'd love for you to join me, and let me tell you more about this program. So same thing in your check-ins not your check-ins, but when you're posting about your workout and Shakeology every day, sometimes I don't say Shakeology. Sometimes I call it a superfoods milkshake. Sometimes I call it my tasty treat. Sometimes I do call it Shakeology, but it's rare, and it just kind of depends on where I want the post to go for that day. Always think about, what do you want your audience to get from your post? So you're trying to just get them to chuckle a little bit and like it and, make their day. Are you trying to inspire them? Go beyond just saying, have a great day. I hope everything's great for you. Say something with more value added there. Are you trying to share information with them? That's a great way to add value and have people wanting to come back to your page. And this is something, guys, that I need to do better about, I know, is sharing recipes. I'm terrible at sharing recipes. I just don't do it very often. But whenever I do, people always want to know what it is. So when I do it, this is what I do. I don't just post the recipe. I'll post a picture of my dinner, and I'll talk about, a couple of the ingredients in it and how tasty it was. And then I'll say, if you want the recipe, let me know. I'll send it to you. That way, I have opened up new conversations with people. And I don't send them messages and say, hey, you want to join my challenge group? But I send them the recipe, and it gives me an opportunity just to start talking to them. Another thing about affinity, when you talk to people through Messenger on Facebook, they are way more likely to see what you post on your social media. So it kind of links you with that person. So if you're looking at someone and you're like, oh, I really think she would like this a lot, and you're hoping that she sees your post, first of all, I want you to get over the fear and just invite that person. But I want you to take it a step further and start connecting with her through Messenger, because she will start seeing your posts that way. All right. And step 4, like I mentioned, jab, 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 right hook. So you want to sprinkle in what you love about your workouts, your Shakeology, and coaching, so that people want to join you and take action. And when they are ready, you will be the person they'll be thinking about. This was huge for me. And even still, all the time, I say it all the time, I send at least 5 invites a day. This call is not about invites, so I promise I won't, jam that down your throats. But I send at least 5 invites to either coaching or my challenge group every single day. And the people I'm inviting right now hardly ever say yes to me. That's just part of the journey. It's just part of the process. The people that I invited 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year ago, and Miss Lexi, who just hopped on the call, she can attest to this, they are the people who are now ready. So when they're ready, they're the ones that are coming to me and saying, I'm ready, let's do this. Because I put in the time in my social media to make it very clear that I am here. I'm here to help people. I'm here to support people. I'm not going anywhere. This is what I'm passionate about and what I'm putting my time and effort into. So I feel like it bridges that gap where they know that they can trust me, that I'll be there for them. And then I've also proven that the products work through my own journey and sharing that all the time. So think about that as you're posting, that you want to be that person that everybody comes to when they're ready. And of course, you're not going to attract everybody. There's that whole idea of attraction and repelling people. And of course, you don't want to repel people, but at the same time, you want the people that are attracted to you to be like-minded. And so this whole idea of thinking of the 10 things that make you, you, and posting about that, that way you're going to be attracted to people that you can best help because you guys can relate to each other. So always be considering that when you're posting, and that you were trying to reach those people who you invited last month. You know, that's another idea you can think about when you're posting is maybe you came across an objection in some of your invites last month. Maybe it's the cost objection. I'll just use that one because it's easiest one for me to do and the biggest objection I get. I will talk about how I think it's actually a super cheap meal in my day to drink Shakeology. I'll sprinkle that into my social media. Like, I'm so glad I have my superfood shake today. It's way cheaper than the Frappuccinos I used to buy, you know, because people, that's relatable to people. When they look at the sticker price of it, their automatic reaction a lot of times is, oh, heck no, I can't afford that. But when you think about it like, well, it's actually cheaper than a coffee at Starbucks, and you post about that, when they're ready, they'll come to you and they'll be like, okay, that makes sense. So that's another jab you can throw out there at people. Step 5, clean up your images. So your social media is like your storefront. Imagine if you, okay, I totally watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians season premiere last night, and they're all talking about whether they're going to keep Dash open or not. So I'm going to use that as my example. So the Dash store needs a major makeover. Apparently it's just out of date because they spend all their time with their other million business ventures. But so they walked in and they're like, holy cow, this is crap. Think about your social media. Is it crap? Or is it something that you're proud of and that you're putting your best foot forward? That is as you're expanding your network, that's the first thing that people are going to see about you. So are your images pretty? Are they, you know, make sure they're not blurry. Make sure they're not all messy with a lot of stuff in the background. When you take your before and after pictures, make sure you're standing in front of a blank background. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. A blank background, so that there's not clutter and stuff behind you, your laundry, whatever, couch. Happens all the time. And you should see my original before and afters. It's in my closet with laundry on the floor and my clothes hanging behind me. Like, I've been there, I get it. But I've learned that if it's just you in the picture standing in front of a blank wall and somebody else taking the picture, it's a much better side by side. So get somebody else to take the picture for you so that it's not a selfie in the bathroom. And no offense to bathroom selfies at all, because we're all about selfies. But when you're taking your legit before and afters, when you start a program and you're done, have somebody else take it for you. Be mindful of what you're wearing, making sure you're wearing the same thing in the before pictures and the after pictures. Stand in front of a blank wall and smile pretty. No, but really, it makes a huge difference. I think you can see more of the transformation that way, and it makes for a much better photo. All right. Can you guys see that thing that just popped up? It won't go away. Shoot. Ah. Oh, well. Can you guys see that? Can somebody nod for me? Yeah. Now yeah. Away. I'm like not. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. Sorry about that. All right. More picture tips. Like I mentioned, the different images you can use, or the different apps. I mean, Rona Designs, WordSwag, PicLab, Moldiv, all really good. Put a frame around your pictures so it sets them apart. And again, we don't want any blurry or dark images. All right. And my final tips, and I can't even see this one or move that thing. Take pictures of foods that you see at the store. So this is a good thing. Like I was talking about filler pictures, like if you use memes or whatever, when you just don't have anything to post in the day, but you need something that's going to get a lot of traction. If you're at the store and you see something that you could totally make a post about, you know, a really good powdered peanut butter, a new brand or something, or a really healthy snack that you like, take a picture of it in your hand, save it for later, and you can make a post about it. Save quotes that you love. I'm constantly going on Pinterest and I'm looking for quotes that I can make into posts for later. And I just save them to my phone. And when I'm like, shoot, I have nothing to post this afternoon, I'll go and look for those pictures. Boom, I have a post. Have a folder in your phone, and this definitely came from Shayna because I'm not this organized, but you have a folder in your phone to save them to. It's much easier to find them. And constantly be taking those before, progress, and after pictures to share in your Transformation Tuesdays, Throwback Thursdays, every single week. This has been huge for me, you guys, just to be able to show how well our products work. I definitely wasn't as consistent with sharing my journey until I got into this rhythm of doing it every Tuesday and every Thursday. And it really, really helps for those people who are watching you, and there will be people watching you. When they're ready, they will come to you because they will see the consistency in your work. They will see that this stuff actually works, and they'll want to work with you. So I hope that that was helpful. I have no idea what happened to my mouse. There we go. No, that's not what I want to do. I might have just screwed this whole thing up. Okay. You guys can unmute yourself and let me know if you have any questions. And I'm really sorry. My mouse literally won't hover over anything but down here. So I'm going to take the screen share off now. And we can chat a little bit if I can figure out how. Now I can do it. Okay. This is what Shayna normally does for me, and then I don't have to worry about it because I am like technologically challenged. Can't you tell? All right, we're back. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I have a question.
Yes.
So
yes.
I work out very, very early in the morning in my garage, and so the lighting is horrible. So what I normally do is when I post on Instagram, I'll use those filters and everything so you can actually see my face. Yeah. Is there an app that will do that without me having to post it on Instagram?
Yeah. Mary Kay, download Pick Tap. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
Pick Tap Go, right?
Yeah, Pick Tap Go. That's what I use. And it is amazing because you can layer the lighting. So,
I have no idea what that means.
What's that?
I have no idea what that means.
Well, like, so you can go in and like, let's select like one of the filters is lights on.
Okay.
It'll brighten up your picture, and you can actually go back in and layer that back over it. But then along the bottom, it's got a toggle, so you can actually adjust every single filter.
Okay.
And so and you can save them as recipes. So like it knows the favorite like filters that you use.
Okay.
So like now I have like 3 of them that I use, and every time I pull up a picture, I literally just go in there, I pull my picture up, I go to like my favorites, and then I click it, and then I'm done in like 2 seconds. Okay. But it's probably the best editing app photo-wise that I've used. So
another thing that I started being more mindful of is lighting. Like right now I'm sitting in front of a really big window so you can see me, but it's actually kind of dark in the room that I'm in. So the other, like, you know, aside from that, if you just had some sort of light in front of you, in front of your face when you snap the picture in your garage, that would work too.
I guess I need to get my husband to buy a spotlight for the garage.
You can get a diva light.
You could probably even, to be honest, you probably could even just use like a table lamp.
Oh yeah. Or
like,
on Amazon for $14.99, they have small diva ring lights that you can put on your phone.
Put on your phone, yeah.
I've had one, and my daughter has broken 2 of them.
Oh no.
So kind of like.
You need a lamp and Pick Tap Go.
Got it.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
I know one of the things that Jen Richardson had talked about she did like an Instagram like 101. And obviously with Instagram, if you're using Instagram, you definitely want to make sure that your photos are like eye-catching. But one thing that she brought up that I found was really interesting when it comes to people and how they choose to like filter their photos. She was saying how like she's in Florida where it's like sunny and bright, you know, and everything. And all of her photos are absolutely fantastically amazing and fun and bright and colorful. And then she compared herself to Stephanie Davies, which I don't know if anybody else knows who she is, but I absolutely love her. And she lives up in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon. And her photos tend to be a little bit darker and a little bit more like muted color. And it was really interesting how she said that like you can bring your personality out in how you choose to filter your photos. So think about that too. Like, are you a happy, bubbly, person, or, are you a little bit more like on the dark side? But it's definitely something where you want to make sure that you're consistent across the board, like with all of your images, no matter what social media platform you're on, because people will start to distinguish you by the look of what you're posting.
Exactly. All right. Anybody else have anything to add? No? Thank you guys so much for being on tonight. I hope that this was helpful. If anything else comes up about social media, you can always ask me, comment below this video in the team page, or in the boot camp, not the boot camp anymore, sorry, the team website, the team training websites that we now have. There's a bunch of stuff in there about how to use social media to rock your business. So and like Shannon pointed out, there's tons of social media trainings in different Beachbody groups on Facebook. So don't be shy clicking around and looking for things. In fact, the TKO social media group, if this is something that you really want to dive into and learn more about social media, let me know and I'll get you in that group. And people are posting ideas all the time, from free group ideas to, stuff like this about how to make your images look better, all kinds of stuff. So
can I add one more thing?
Yes.
Okay. So another thing that you could look into doing, and it's something that I know I need to get better at, but like when you're posting your photos, try to create an album ahead of time. So like whether it's you've got an album that's like coach life, family life, an album for like your recipes, just whatever it is, and post your photos into that album, because a lot of times people are going to come to your Facebook page and they're not going to scroll all the way through a week's worth of your posts. They're only going to scroll through like the first 2 or 3 things that you've posted. And if you've posted 2 days prior to where they stop about your like call to action, they may not see that. But if they see that you have an album and it's specifically labeled like coach life, or if you're doing a specific program and sharing about that, they'll have that album to go back to, and they'll be able to see just those posts in that album. And then that way they have the information and they can come back to you if it's something that they're interested in.